Well, boys, Arsenal drew this week and increased their lead at the top of the Premier League. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight is Brad up top. He supports Chelsea, and down below is Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. Gentlemen, hello, good day.
Barely.
How are you?
Great. We're doing big things.
Are we?
Beat
What are the big things, Brad? I'm curious to know what the big
We're
things
winning
are.
games again. Got a new manager. We're winning games again. You know, that's big.
Well, to be fair, last Friday you told us that Chelsea won in the first leg of the semifinal of the Carabao Cup in the review episode, and that
The ref was terrible.
objectively false.
And that ref was terrible.
But before we get into the Premier League, because we're not talking about the League Cup here, hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Ring the sub notification bell on that platform as well. Watch to the end. If you're on one of the podcast sites, hit it with a follow, 5-star review. Thank you so much for clicking in, tuning in this week. We really appreciate it. Hit the share button, send it to a friend or a coworker or family member, someone who might appreciate three Yanks talking about some English footy. And so without further ado, we are here to talk about round 22 of the Premier League. It seems, just as a quick tangent, it seems strange that we're already 22 matches deep into the Premier League season.
It is.
Yeah.
And I don't know where you wanted to head from this, but I do want to pose a question that I didn't think I was going to ask.
Let's do it.
This may be philosophically to steal a line from a Christopher Nolan movie. Is this a die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, even among your own supporters? Does Pep Guardiola suck?
No, Pep Guardiola does not suck.
Because my man's getting thumped in derbies, and then he's heading to the Arctic Circle and getting thumped in the Arctic in Santa Land.
So it's objectively a bad week for Manchester City, losing to Manchester United, losing to this Manchester United, and then on top of that, losing to Bodo Glimt in the Champions League this afternoon. I think that was Bodo Glimt's first win in the UEFA Champions League, first ever win in the Champions League. So big ups to Norwegian team.
That is objectively not true.
It's not.
They have in your maybe it is in the Champions League. Maybe I was not privy to that. But it's not their first result or their first point. Because I saw a graphic that since 2020, Bodo Glimt had something like 43 games in European competitions, in which they won 32 of them, and they lost 9 and drew a couple.
Okay,
which is a remarkable home schedule, home record for European competitions. Now, granted, looking at the teams, it listed out all the teams. It was a very long tweet that listed every game. And admittedly, most of them appeared to be teams that I was unfamiliar with. They were probably Conference League games.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter who you're playing. You win 32 out of 43 games, I believe it was what it was. That's remarkable.
Yeah.
That is a really good record.
Absolutely. But then you get into the Champions League and you're playing it against Manchester City, and I think they played Tottenham this season. And
they played they played Tottenham in Europa semifinals.
No, didn't you guys play them like a couple weeks ago?
Maybe we did. Yeah.
I could have.
We were definitely on there.
I could have sworn Tottenham and Bodo Glimt played this season. I mean, I think Arsenal played Bodo Glimt the last time we were in the Europa League.
Because anytime somebody,
that sounds about right.
Anytime Chelsea gets a Kazakhstan fixture. We make fun of that. But anytime somebody gets a Bodo Glimt game, we make fun of playing above the Arctic Circle, which is objectively hilarious.
And we did play in the Arctic Circle in like December against them. In the Europa League. Which
is why it's funny because anybody that plays in Kazakh, they got to play Astana and Kazakhstan. It's objectively funny that you need to fly 14 man hours to get to the game.
It's an absurd proposition to claim that Kazakhstan is in Europe. But
we've gone down this path. It's they made the European Union before the USSR split up. Yes.
Yeah, we've beaten this horse dead on a number of times. But back to your initial point, does Pep Guardiola suck? Maybe Michael Carrick is just that guy.
Michael Backpass Carrick?
Maybe Michael Backpass Carrick is just that guy.
Or new manager bounce. Or what? I think both are goal. Their first goal was a counter, wasn't it?
Your guess is good. I mean, yeah.
One of the goals was a counter.
I watched the entire game. Manchester United dominated the entire game. This was not close, and the scoreline is not indicative of how much United deserved to win this game.
Can I just rewind the clock to August when we were talking about Manchester United? Is that they are a squad of good players. There are objectively good footballers on that team.
Collection of good footballing players.
The problem, I think, over the last 4 months for them is that they've been trying to do this hyper-specific thing that Ruben Amorim has wanted them to do, and they've struggled. And they've had injuries. And I think there's been some interpersonal issues with certain players and the manager. And maybe under Carrick, who is going to try and play more, I guess, modern traditional football, less highly specific tactics, maybe they're able to be a little bit more comfortable doing that. And then when the good footballing players aren't thinking as much, they can just perform better. And so, but on top of that, there's like a handful of games each season that Manchester United really get up for. It's Liverpool, Arsenal, and at home against Manchester City. They don't care about going to the Etihad. Like they're like, we'll get rolled at the Etihad. We don't care. It doesn't matter. But at Old Trafford, they want to beat City. Against Arsenal, they want to beat Arsenal. Against Liverpool, they want to beat Liverpool. But beyond that, like United don't really care about Chelsea that much. They don't really care about Tottenham that much. They don't care about Aston Villa that much. And so this was one of the games on the schedule that like Manchester United are like, all right, we have to be up for this one. And then you got Michael Carrick coming in, who is a Manchester United guy, who's trying to simplify things for them. And you're playing against maybe the manager, the team, the system that is the most recognizable because it's what Pep has been doing for the last 15 years without fail, right? Like Pep Guardiola's football is Pep Guardiola's football, and therefore you know how to prepare for it. The players are prepared for it. It doesn't take a forensic analysis of the tactics to know what a Pep Guardiola side is going to do. And so it makes the job of Carrick preparing the team easier. And maybe Michael Carrick's tactics are a little bit, he last managed in June of 25 at Middlesbrough. So he hasn't been managing for 6 months. 9 months, I guess, whatever it is. I guess it's 6 or 7 months. I can't do math. And is what he's trying to do at Middlesbrough indicative of what he's going to try and do with better footballers at United? I don't know. And so it was just kind of this perfect storm for United to be able to get one over City, I think. It'll be interesting to see how they do next weekend because they go to the Emirates and they have to face Arsenal, which is another game they get up for, but also another manager whose footballing philosophies are well known. But I don't know. We all thought City were going to roll United in this game. I think my question to you guys on Friday was like, how many goals are City going to win by? And I think we all settled on at least 2. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it was new manager bounce. I don't know. But that didn't happen.
I have a philosophical question on a new manager bounce.
Yeah.
Which I've been formulating and coming up with a hypothesis that I think I'm getting close to nailing down. I just want to bounce it off you guys. Is a new manager bounce simply that the old manager was asking players to do things that they're not capable of doing, a system that they're not capable of running, and now they are free of those shackles and are free to play. Or this is what I think, that the players purposefully slack off so that the manager gets fired, and then once the manager is fired, then they begin to play with their old veracity and skill that they had prior.
Both.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both.
Because that is a player fireable, sellable offense. If you purposefully slack off to sack a manager, I am selling you.
Okay, are you going to sell all 22 players?
Yep, if I got to.
Yeah, but
can't
do it in one window, but I can do it, and I will. And I'm a petty SOB.
Yes,
I will sell every daggone one of you to the lowest possible competition I can.
But
you'll be playing.
Hold on.
You'll be playing in Serie B if I can help it.
Then you end up with $2 billion spent and nothing to show for it, but a Club World Cup and a Conference League trophy.
Not even that.
I will figure out a way to bring in players that best represent our club and our crest.
So, but the question is that like you're questioning the player power question, or is like.
I guess philosophically, is it that Ruben was being too hyper specific, and the players just simply could not keep up, or is it truly that they were slacking off?
He didn't have the players.
I think
now they can go back to what they want.
I think it's got to be a mixture of both. It's not that the players aren't good enough to do it, but we've all played sports, and we've all played multiple sports, and sports that we're not as good at playing, that we have to think about doing more than the other sports, we aren't as good at. Like, so like my primary sport that I'm best at playing is basketball, right? And so you put me on a soccer field and I'm athletic and I'm decent, but I have to think more playing soccer. And so I'm not able to get into that like flow state that we talk, that like you hear sports people talk about. And so, and obviously like I am not a professional athlete, super far from it. But there is an aspect of when someone is asking you to do something that you're not as comfortable doing, you have to think about it more. And then you're constantly thinking, oh, did I do it right? And then you got like the coaches on the sideline are barking at you and like they want you to be like a couple feet to the left or something like that. And you're like, I think it's not that they're not good enough to do it. It's just that it's uncomfortable. And then when results aren't going your way, it's much easier to just be like, well, this guy's a buffoon. He clearly doesn't know what he's doing. Like, why am I trying so hard for this guy? You know, because it's hard to get to that like next level, right? In sports, like you can be serviceable, passable, good player, but to get to that like elite level, which some of these players clearly have the capability and skill of doing, but like flipping that switch and going into that like that killer, I'm the best zone. I think it's harder to do when you're questioning the tactics, when you're questioning the manager, when you're questioning the players around you, things like when you're thinking about the how you're playing.
Also, he put Bruno Fernandes in a pivot. Like,
yeah, right.
What?
He's
that's not he had certain players at his disposal that he had to put on the field and didn't have the spot for them where they would naturally play, where they're naturally better. Because Bruno can't defend. Bruno can't hold space. His job is to get the ball, make the tap pass that unlocks the defense, that the next pass unlocks the defense.
Yeah, but then he ignores players like Kobe Mainoo who do that.
Correct.
Right?
Like, correct. Which was
Yeah, Kobe Mainoo is a pivot. And I'd take Mainoo on. I don't know that he would start. I'd take Mainoo on Tottenham any day.
You don't think anybody in the Premier League would start that's not already in a Tottenham jersey?
We have a really
but
all healthy. We have a really congested midfield. So do I know that he would start on Tottenham? I don't know if we were all healthy. I haven't seen us healthy in a long time, so I don't know what that looks like. So right now, yeah, it probably starts.
But big ups to United for coming out and showing some fighting. Honestly, big ups for United for getting 3 points.
Natural segue. Speaking of starting in our midfield and walking right into the club. Conor Gallagher, everybody made a professional
Tottenham Hotspur player.
Yeah, no, he doesn't belong in our midfield. He could be a great bench player. Dog walk to everybody. My Gala dog.
I watched the game, buddy. Did you watch the game? No, he was
he
fine.
Did not.
Like I didn't notice any immeasurable difference than anybody that would have played in his stead. He was there. He contributed. I got no complaints. I do love. He has that like one thing I forgot with him going to Spain. He has that like McTominay, John McGinn, like I'm running full speed at everything type mentality. Like he attacks headers, like he takes on challenges, like he is full speed at every 50-50 ball that he possibly can. And it's something it was not fresh in my mind, but yeah, I appreciate that. Like that is a midfielder you need on your team.
I wonder how much of that is a Simeone thing, that like playing under Diego Simeone and at this Atletico Madrid, like they are the epitome of like, just I'm going to work harder than you.
Yeah.
Because
I noticed it.
Right. And so I wonder how much that is. But I mean,
did he have that at Chelsea, Brad?
What?
Like,
oh yeah.
I will outwork you. I will get to every 50-50 ball before you.
Conor Gallagher was an agent of chaos.
So, okay, does that mean that's why Simeone was interested in signing him? Was that he had that DNA already? He had that grinta, that grit in his game?
I think so. And it was a market opportunity because we wanted
for who? Market opportunity for who?
For Atleti.
I don't know. Do you want in return?
I think Chelsea saw that as 40 million of pure profit on the books.
I see where you're going.
Sure, because we weren't re-signing him, so it became a market opportunity for Atleti to come in and get him for the G.
Okay, now we're getting a marketing lecture.
Market opportunity. That's what Chelsea look for.
It's like Mark Gahey was a market opportunity.
Just because we had to buy a player that we loaned out 3 months later and then sold the next year, to make it happen. I don't, those are market opportunities.
But I noticed it. I watched a little. I watched a little bit of the 90 minutes of all 90 minutes of the game, and the one of the first passages of play in the Tottenham West Ham game was Conor Gallagher out jumping a West Ham player and heading the ball, and in the follow through headed the West Ham player, and we had a stoppage of play in about 90 seconds or 2 minutes in, and we had a stoppage of play for a collision of heads. And I was like, okay, all right. This is what I signed up for, huh?
So
Agent of Chaos.
So, but ultimately West Ham won the game. Relegation fodder, relegation probable, West Ham United. Nuno's at the wheel West. Interestingly enough, apparently Nuno has won more times at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in like the last some number of years than Spurs have, which is
Tottenham,
which is objectively funny.
It's in this this calendar year because he won
with Forest.
With Forest, got fired, got hired by West Ham, and then won again, which is 2 times is more than we've won at our own home stadium since like November.
It's tied. It's tied for the same calendar year. For 2025, he has won the same amount of home games.
Spurs have only won 2 games in
Premier League. In the
Premier League.
In 2025? In all of 2025?
No. Well, so we're saying 2 different stats. So I'm saying it's like since November or October or something embarrassing that he has won 2 games and we have won 1.
No, it's 2 and 2.
But okay, so it's 2 and 2. Yes,
for the whole calendar.
I was the one that sent the tweet. Hold on, let me see if I can find the tweet because I sent it.
That would be
the calendar year is only 20 days old.
Well, we're thinking
that's why I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point.
If you go back to it's like September or October or November, somewhere right around there is where the delineation starts.
Okay.
Maybe since he got appointed at West Ham or something.
Nuno has won the same number of Premier League matches at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the last 9 months as Spurs have.
Now, that does include 2 months in the summer when they weren't playing, 3 months in the summer when they weren't playing, but that is an indictment.
So 6 months.
That is
6 months.
That's
2.
That's something
that means
else.
He won at Forest and he won with West Ham there.
And so this leaves Thomas Frank, like all of the headlines coming out of this game where Thomas Frank is going to be sacked, and then it was unsure about Thomas Frank, and then it was, well, Thomas Frank is going to get the Dortmund game on Tuesday in the Champions League, but his future remains uncertain. Well, then he rocks up and beats Dortmund. So
yeah.
Wait, like are we just kind of on if he loses again, he's just going to be fired? Like where are we at right now?
Stupid.
I agree.
It is stupid. Like, I take your point, James, of small market or claw your way up from the bottom manager. How do you do it with a big club?
Yeah.
Like, it's different. I do take your point there. And we've hashed that out. We don't rehash. Check out some of our past podcasts to hear that argument, probably last week where we talked about it in depth. So check out that episode first. But I take your point. But we can't, if we hire one of those managers, we can't just allow them 6 months and you're not working out and then we got to fire you.
Yeah.
So what do we? Yeah, because what's the point then? Then just don't hire them because they take longer to figure it out / implement what they're trying to do.
And the problem is you've gone both routes at this point. You've gone the seasoned veterans.
Jose,
exactly.
Nuno.
I wouldn't put Nuno with those guys. But you've
Nuno
also
we hired Nuno on the heels of Conte.
Yes.
Suffer ball, and that was the wrong appointment. And I think us and Nuno knew this wasn't. I'm sorry, we made a mistake. You made a mistake. We both made a mistake. You just go.
But then you tried it with Big Ange, and the first season was tremendously successful by Tottenham standards, I think. And the second season was even more successful because you guys won a European Cup, and then you sacked him. So like what does the Tottenham Hotspur manager have to do to be safe in his job?
I think we are about to find out because that was all Levy. Now Levy is gone.
No, Levy did not make the decision on Ange.
That came from Joe Lewis.
Yeah.
So then the decision came from Joe Lewis, and then Joe Lewis fired Levy because that was shortly after.
Right.
Is that how that went?
I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. I mean, why would you let Levy make that decision unilaterally when he's leaving?
But he wasn't leaving. I think Levy was in charge of the transfers this summer, wasn't he?
I think no.
He got fired in like September.
It's our
I thought it was like June, July. He was gone.
It was our Italian buddy that just came off of
Paratici, who is actually left.
He's leaving.
He's left.
He's left
Tottenham. Yeah, he's taking a job at Fiorentina. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, it happened this week.
Yep.
I missed the Romano.
My two cents is you're on average have enough points to survive. I mean, it sucks to suck, but suck it up. Ride it out.
Yeah, and we're in a rebuild, and like I don't expect the rebuild to happen. I've said this a few times.
Yeah, but I think
last, 9 months. Rebuilds suck. I don't want to be 17th. That was brutal.
Yes, that was clearly Ange's big downfall. Is that he completely ignored the league to win the Europa League.
Yeah,
but he won. He won a trophy.
Yeah, we won.
Yeah,
we got it.
I mean,
and so like we're in a rebuild. We're bringing in new young players that need to be coached up. So
yeah,
why not let a coach them?
I hear that, but a rebuild for a should be top 6 club, right? Like a top 6 club, for whatever that means now, should still be Europe. And I'm saying that as a Chelsea fan because I hated being out of Europe. Right?
because what
like
you're trying to say,
it might not
what
be
you're saying
Champions League
for a top 6 club, it shouldn't be a rebuild, it should be a reload.
or well, it can still be a rebuild, but like you should be fighting for 7th and a deep ass cup run to get you to Europe.
I mean,
is what I would say like a rebuild should look like.
Yeah, we finished 8th. Didn't have Europe for a year.
And I don't
finished 8th again, but we won the FA Cup, I think is what it was.
I have a little Ten Hag situation going on at Tottenham too that I don't quite know what we're going for. With Ange, I could identify, even with Conte, I can identify with what we're trying to do.
But with Frank, Thomas Frank, you're confused?
I am confused. He says he wants to play progressive, free-flowing football. When I watch the games, I don't see that.
Hey,
it is invisible on the screen.
He's not right. Well, that's because Thomas Frank's football is progressive, free-flowing football when the teams aren't in a low block.
I think and to your point, Sean, we talked about that a lot last week, but I also think there's a point to be said that. Oh, what was the point I was going to say? Because it's gone from my mind now. I've been holding on to it for the last 45 seconds. I'm so mad now.
While you're doing that, I think if he loses to Burnley, though, like I don't know if he can be.
If we lose to Burnley, I am Frank out. I said a lot of things out last week, and I mean all of them. I'm talking.
I mean, you lost to West Ham.
If we lose to Burnley, then ticket takers out, all staff out, medical staff out, coaches out.
I've remembered.
Valet out. The whole stadium staff.
We stalled long enough.
Yep. Thomas Frank is one of the more pragmatic managers in the Premier League, and he is more willing to adapt his style against the teams he's playing. He's not a
in-game.
No, in-game.
In-game.
In-game, before game.
Yeah.
He is not.
I have noticed that, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's not a zealous adherent to a certain philosophy, and so he is very willing to be pragmatic. And so, I forget what the context was and why that was an important thing for me to say.
because he said he wants to play free flowing football.
Yeah, maybe I don't remember. So Tottenham, keep your eyes peeled on the Tottenham situation. Everton got a very nice win against Aston Villa.
You're not slipping out here. You want to talk about your draw?
I mean, we can. I think it was a multitude of things, and I'll do it quickly. But we had Chelsea in the semifinal in the Carabao Cup midweek, and we had Inter in the Champions League on Tuesday. You know, you play Forest on Saturday, and it's this kind of perfect storm of Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, and I think that the eyes were on the cup competitions a little bit. And Forest had a whole week to prepare. And I honestly, I kind of think that the eyes were on the Champions League.
Humble brag. Humble brag.
It wasn't intended to be a humble brag.
Sean Dyche.
But humble brag. Humble brag said. James said Forest ain't in no cups because they suck.
Forest is in Europe. I didn't say that. You said that.
He forgot that they were in the cup.
Yeah, because they played Thursday.
I didn't forget. I know when they play. But there was no Europa League last week. But yes, also Sean Dyche is Arsenal don't have a great track record against Sean Dyche teams. Some years are better than others, but he gets results against Arsenal. He got results against Wenger. He got results against Arteta. He gets results. So, but I don't know. I honestly, I was not terribly upset because if you remember my comments on Friday of last week was that this is a good team, is a team full of good players that could hurt Arsenal. And they played well. They were well coached and well organized, and they frustrated Arsenal. And Arsenal missed a number of good opportunities to win the game. There is a bunch of complaining about the handball that wasn't given, but I don't know. I wasn't super upset when I watched it that VAR didn't give it. Arteta was pretty upset about it, but I saw it and I was like, I don't really think there's much here. And so we had opportunities to win. We didn't win the game, but honestly, the silver lining is that both City and Villa lost, and so we picked up points on a weekend where we only drew. And so we walked into the weekend 6 points clear, and we walk out of the weekend 7 points clear. And so, whatever. On to whoever we got next. On to United next weekend. That's all it can be, right? We can be upset. Yeah. We can recognize that we wanted to win the game, but we have a bigger lead in the league now than we did last week. So I'll take it. And interestingly enough, I was the only one to accurately predict that Arsenal would draw that game of all the respondents. So
that's
just saying.
Because you're back doing your thing where you don't pick the Arsenal game, you just pick against them.
No, that's not true.
Wait. We'll find out about that.
Exactly. Thank you, Sean. And you'll have to tune back in on Friday for our preview episode of round 23, where we will talk about the upcoming fixtures and we will wrap up all of the picks that everyone made. You'll check back with us on Friday for that. Hit us up on social media. That guy up top is at KSBradG. Down below is at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. Collectively, we can be reached at redcard_radio, info.redcardradio@gmail.com if you want to email us. Drop a comment, hit the share button. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the Champions League football, the Europa League football, whatever the football is over the next couple of days, and we'll be back on Friday to preview everything for you. Until then, have a good one, and we will speak with you soon.